What's going on YouTube? My name is Tony Doe. I am a physical therapist and someone who has been into fitness, working out, bodybuilding, powerlifting, helping people get into shape for the last 12 to 14 years at this point. And now that 2023 is here and we are in January, many individuals are starting their fitness journey, whether it's lose fat, gain muscle, get in better shape, whatever it is, this is usually the time that people start. In this video, I want to talk about the 5 tips, principles, overarching themes of fitness that I've learned over time that if you focus on this, chances are you will reach your goals. Let's talk about it. Tip number 1 is to establish your goal and understand your work ethic. So are you trying to lose body fat, gain muscle, become more toned like most people will say? Get stronger? What is it? Establishing your goal is very important because if you're trying to become more toned and you're on the treadmill 7 days a week not doing any sort of lifting, then you're not really working towards that goal of yours, are you? Secondly, understanding your work ethic. Are you someone that is very methodical, habitual, would benefit from being in the gym 5 to 7 days a week? Or are you someone that hates being in the gym but wants to work towards your goals? Someone like that, I wouldn't have them in the gym 6 or 7 days a week because they won't stick to it. And as a result, you won't make any progress. So it's important to understand your work ethic so then you can do the research and work with someone to create a program that caters towards something that you will stick to. Ultimately, the power in this is giving you direction in where you should be going. Because if you're trying to get to path A, but you're on path B, well, you're wasting your time. So establish your goals, understand your work ethic. Number 2, don't focus on perfection. This is in regards to your program with your workout program and your nutrition. I would much rather have someone that can stick to a program that is subpar than a program that requires elite bodybuilding, athlete level focus that they stick to 20 to 30% of the time. You're just not gonna make progress, especially in the game of fitness where you're trying to change your body. It takes some time to see results and you need to be consistent with it in order to see results. This applies to both your program and your nutrition. An extremist, for example, right? They'll say, avoid all of this food, stick to this, work out every single day. Of course you're gonna see results, but how long are you really gonna stick to that? You'll stick to that maybe 2 or 3 weeks and then burn out. Whereas if you stuck to something that was 50% of that, but stuck to that for the next 9 to 12 months, you will indeed see progress. And this applies to both nutrition and your workout program. When I first started lifting when I was 16 years old, in hindsight, on paper, that was probably the worst program I could have ever written. But at that time, they're really only magazines for resources, right? But in this day and age, you have this video, you have numerous resources. You can hire a personal trainer, a coach. Link below, I do offer online coaching, custom programming, nutrition, etc. You have the resources now. You just have to find something that you can stick to. So focus on consistency over being optimal or perfection. Tip number 3 is all about nutrition. If you focus on calories in versus calories out, I know it's a very broad statement, but if you focus on that, you will make progress. The problem here is that when you start, people try to overcomplicate things. Do you do keto? Do you do low carb, low fat, Mediterranean diet, intermittent fasting? What is it that you do? It's not specifically those methods of eating that make you lose or gain weight, whatever it is that you're trying to do. It's the calories in versus calories out, whatever is the best approach for you to get there. So an example here, if you're someone that tends to be hard to satiate in terms of your hunger levels, you prefer bigger meals, and it's harder for you to eat smaller meals because it doesn't fulfill you, then you really shouldn't be on a program that has you eating 6 to 8 meals a day because you're just not gonna stick to that, right? Like let's say if you're trying to lose weight, for example. You're just not gonna stick to that. So someone like that, like myself, I'd much rather be doing intermittent fasting because then I can hit those calories while eating bigger meals and being satiated. So whatever it is that you can consistently stick to, don't overcomplicate things. Calories in versus calories out. There are of course nuances to this that are gonna hinder, encourage, or plateau you in progress. But if you focus on that overarching theme, that is a great place to start. One thing I will say is protein. I'd recommend anywhere from 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight at a minimum. So if you're someone that is 200 pounds, 160 grams is the minimum that I'd recommend that you intake each day. I know it's hard at first to hit that, but over time you'll find different strategies to get there, and it's a lot easier to do so. Protein powder is a great way to help with this as well, but calories in versus calories out, focus on that. Don't overcomplicate things. Tip number 4, progressive overload is key. This is in terms of your gym progress as well as your weight goals, whether it's gaining or losing, and really in life as a whole, right? Progressive overload is key. Your body's a very smart machine. It adapts to the stresses that you put on it, and over time, if you don't change that stress, it's gonna stay the same. If you're bench pressing 135 pounds for 3 months straight, but you're trying to gain some weight and gain some muscle, improve the pecs a little bit, you need to be benching more than that over time in order to see progress. Same thing with losing weight, the scale, gaining weight, whatever it is, you need to focus on over time, progressively overloading. My main key tip here is to take it slow. Don't overstress it. Don't throw something that's too hard at it at once where you can't stick to. Weight loss example, reducing your calories by 800 to 1,000. You're not gonna stick to that, and there's negative consequences to that. Being in the gym, don't stress yourself out if you're not gaining strength week to week. If let's say it's March compared to January, your bench press is up 10 pounds, 5 to 10 pounds, but your form is better, you're doing more volume, whatever it is, that's progressive overload in itself. So take it slow, but focus on it. Tip number 5 is don't underestimate NEAT. This stands for non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So this is any calories that you're burning that's not direct exercise that you're going to try to do exercise for, that's not related to eating, and it's not related to sleeping. So you have your total calories that you burn every single day, right? It breaks down into your basal metabolic rate, which is how much you burn just to stay alive, your organs functioning, etc. You have your thermic effect of food, which is how much your body is burning to digest the food. Some macronutrients require more calories, like protein, for example, to burn than something like a carbohydrate. That's getting a little too technical though, don't focus too much on that. And then you have your NEAT. An example here, you go to Target, instead of driving around multiple laps to find the first slot, park on one of the farther ones and walk to the door. That's an example of non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Another one is very applicable in this day and age. If you work from home, every half an hour if you can, do a lap around your house and come back and sit down. Stand every other hour, something like that. Implement that into your life, and over time, not only is it good for your overall general health, but it will add up in terms of calories burned. Bonus tip, tip number 6. Don't always rely on motivation, work on building discipline. Motivation is great in the beginning when you're trying to get started, trying to take those first few steps. I know for me it was huge. I want to look like Taylor Lautner from New Moon, Twilight. He made a crazy transformation back in the day if you remember, but that really allowed me to get in the gym every single day. And over time though, the issue is motivation fades. The same thing that motivates you today isn't going to be the same thing 5 years from now. Then what? So you want to work on building discipline. Priorities change, life changes, how much time you have changes, how much enjoyment you have in the activity changes. So learn to build discipline. And that's going to be the video, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that you all found it useful and informative. I know that it was very broad and generalized, but I'm a firm believer that for people that are just getting started at least, and low grade intermediates, it is that simple if you focus on just those things. There are many nuances to those. I understand that. I'm not ignorant to that. But I don't think it's important to focus on the nuances at this point in time. Focus on those things and you can make progress and maintain the progress, or have the tools to keep the progress going for the rest of your life and have that control in your physical health and fitness. Again, below in the description box, my website as well as my email. If you don't know where to get started in terms of your health and your fitness, reach out, let me know what your goals are, and I can help you get to that point. Until next time, I appreciate you all watching. Tito checking out. Peace.